Rain poured down like a relentless symphony that night, drumming against the streets and washing the city in a cold, gray despair. Underneath the flickering glow of a streetlight, a young woman stumbled, soaked to the bone, shivering violently as she clutched her jacket tighter around her frail frame. The wind whipped at her hair and threatened to push her into the puddles forming on the uneven pavement. And then, out of the darkness, came a figure, tall, strong, yet tender in his presence. His name was Michael Carter, a single father who spent most of his nights waiting tables at a modest downtown cafe, juggling the exhausting responsibilities of raising his 9-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own. Michael didn't hesitate. He dashed into the rain, pulling off his coat and wrapping it around the young woman's shoulders. Her teeth chattered uncontrollably, and for a brief moment, Michael felt the weight of the world press down on him, not just the night, not just the rain, but the immense fragility of life itself. She was trembling, soaked through, but somehow alive. He guided her under the nearest awning, offering his own scarf as he searched her face, worried about her injuries or shock. "Are you okay? Can you stand?" he asked softly, his voice gentle but urgent, soaked in empathy and concern. She nodded weakly, too stunned to speak, her eyes wide with disbelief and gratitude. Michael had no idea then that this small act of kindness would ripple far beyond that rainy night. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small acts to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. That night, Michael carried her to the cafe he worked at, a place dimly lit and nearly empty at the hour. He sat her down near the heater, wrapped in towels, and offered her hot tea. Her name was Emily Thompson, and she whispered that she had been running from something, though the fear in her eyes made Michael decide not to press too hard. The cafe was quiet except for the rain, their breaths misting in the warm light. Michael's heart ached as he thought of Lily, asleep in the apartment above the cafe, dreaming of school and laughter, unaware that her father was at that very moment helping a stranger who needed him desperately. Life for Michael had always been a balancing act of exhaustion and hope. After his wife died unexpectedly 2 years ago, he had taken over full responsibility for Lily, scraping by on his meager earnings as a waiter. He worked long shifts, washed dishes late at night, and yet never missed helping his daughter with her homework or attending her school events. Money was tight, but love and determination filled every empty corner of their modest apartment. Still, he had never expected that a chance encounter in a storm would challenge him in ways he could not yet imagine. Emily stayed at the cafe until the rain eased, wrapping herself in Michael's warmth and words of reassurance. Eventually, he helped her get a cab, refusing payment for the tea or towels, telling her simply, "Just take care of yourself." As she left, her eyes glistened, and Michael felt an unspoken bond, a quiet reminder of the goodness that could exist between strangers. He never thought he would see her again. Life rarely allowed for sequels in moments like this, but the universe had its own plans. Days passed, and the memory of that rainy night lingered in Michael's mind. He returned to the routine of early mornings and late nights, preparing pancakes for Lily before school, hurrying to his shifts at the cafe, and falling asleep with exhaustion etched in every line of his face. One evening, as Michael and Lily sat together on their small couch, Lily scrolled through the tablet she had borrowed from her school. She froze, pointing at the screen with wide, astonished eyes. "Daddy! I think I know her," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement. On the screen was Emily Thompson, but not as a stranger. She was appearing on a television interview, speaking about a foundation she had recently started to help people experiencing homelessness. She looked radiant, full of energy and hope. Lily turned to Michael, her small hands clutching his arm. "Daddy, that's the lady from the rain. You saved her." Michael's heart stopped. His hands shook as he watched her, his chest tightening with a mixture of pride, disbelief, and overwhelming emotion. The small act of kindness he thought had vanished into the world had grown into something far larger. Emily had survived, healed, and was now helping others, inspired in part by the compassion shown to her by a man she had met in the pouring rain. He had saved her body from the storm, and unknowingly, she had allowed that same moment of care to blossom into hope for countless others. Days turned into weeks, and Michael couldn't shake the feeling of awe at how connected lives could be. He and Lily watched more stories about Emily's foundation, seeing people whose lives had changed because someone had believed in them. Michael realized that the stormy night had also changed him. It reminded him that even when life is hard, even when you feel invisible, your small acts can echo in ways you can never predict. And for Lily, it became a life lesson she would carry forever, that empathy, courage, and kindness were never wasted. In that moment, Michael made a quiet vow. He would continue to show compassion whenever he could, not for recognition, not for reward, but because the world could always use a little more warmth. He thought of the nights he struggled to make ends meet, the exhaustion that weighed on his shoulders, and how one small decision, to reach out to a stranger, had created a ripple of hope far greater than he could have imagined. It was a reminder that even the simplest gesture of humanity could ignite a chain reaction of goodness. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, comment below, and share it with someone who might need hope today. And just before you go, leave a comment telling us about a moment when someone's kindness changed your life. You never know who you might inspire. Michael and Lily continued their lives, their hearts fuller, their steps lighter. Every time it rained, they didn't just see gray skies, they remembered a night when compassion had bridged the gap between strangers, creating a story that would linger forever. Emily's smile on that screen reminded Michael that while life could be unpredictable and harsh, love and empathy had a way of changing everything. And in that change, they found not only hope, but a quiet magic that would last a lifetime.